What's up, gang? We're gonna start in this corner today. I'm gonna go ahead and button up this strike force. There's some screws that went through the side into the control panel that aren't needed, that are in the way. I'm gonna pull those out and reattach the control panel, adjust that monitor some, and then we're going to move over to the Afterburner and work on the power supply issues that we have down here. Actually, we're just replacing this one and then using the good one out of here for the one in the arena. And then we're gonna jump over to Super Pack, hopefully, and either fix this monitor or get one in it that works. So stick around. So this is the inside of, I forget, Afterburner. I don't know why I always forget the name of games. We're gonna install this power supply, and then we're gonna use this power supply that's in here for our Afterburner at the other location. What had happened was soda spilled through a bolt hole, and I'll show you once I remove this. There's a nasty spill there, and it caused the original to burn out. And I stole this one out of the warehouse to get this game to work, and now we need another one. So this is what we're gonna do. This is just a 24 volt power supply off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. It has line in, your line neutral, and then your field ground here. And then we have negative, 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 positive, positive, positive. So we don't have an actual ground on here. So what I'm gonna do is just steal it from, I think here. I think I'm gonna put a different connector there and steal ground from there. So all we're doing is running it from here to here. So what I'm gonna do or let me show you here, our two different, our in and out on our little power supply. So the in is here, it has regular AC voltage coming in. And then the out is there, of course, which is 24 volts. Hang on, let me get this situated a little better. Okay, that's a little better. So here we have two ground and two 24 volt coming out, and they just go for this. So what I want to do is kind of try to rearrange and have this power supply here, and then have our wiring run. I'm actually going to have our ground run here, and then our voltage run here, and then our AC, I'm going to have to tip you here so you can see. It runs along here and is plugged into this side of the power supply. So what I want to do is just clip these zip ties along the way back here, and then I'm just going to reroute that section back over here to the power supply. So let me move us around a little bit. Probably gonna need to be better situated for this with the tripod. But I wanna go ahead and take this out. This is the 24 volt power supply that we need. And there is the grossness underneath that. Somehow I need to deal with that too. Pretty nasty. But it seems like both games had the same problem. It looked like the other one had a spill situation that looks like maybe they had replaced the board afterwards. But what I'm gonna do is here for this ground, I wanna kind of show you what I'm doing on the wiring on this one. So it looks like they've already kind of stolen ground, and it looks like 5 volts for something else here. So what I want to do is where they have this connected in here, this should come out. Okay, not as easily as I thought, but I want to try to put another connector there and try to jump it in, and then I'll run 2 grounds this way. Pointing and you can't see. And then I'll run my grounds around this way over to the power supply. But let me clip the AC out, get it run over here, and then we'll start doing a little bit of quick wiring. Next step. So what we want to do is take our wiring from this little board here, this little purple and black wiring, and we want to ground it over here, right where this guy is right here. Now I have one of these guys that I got off Amazon with all the little connectors, you know, and I want to show you the one that I want to use here. So this is like a little piggyback connector. So I'm gonna set it inside where this one was, and then that one there I can actually slide in here. And so both of those will just connect up nicely, and then we will crimp this on, and then splice the ground wire into this little mini harness here. So let me pull this little harness off. I have some wiring for us to use. I'm gonna go with yellow to the power, and then black to the ground, so it'll be somewhat like this. But let me pull this out, and then I'll show you how I splice the wiring and that kind of stuff, and then we'll start putting it together.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
Let's make a harness. So I trimmed these already, and this is the other part of our harness. Let's go ahead and do the ground. So I want to trim these. These are my strippers here. It's a little too big. Okay. Normally I wouldn't leave this much extra on here, but it makes it easier to see on camera. Okay, so we're gonna put these two together. Let's get some heat shrink out. This is I don't know if I'm zoomed in or not. This one came from Harbor Freight, but since, you know, I can put links in and get commission from Amazon, I'll put a link to the same kind of kit from Amazon. This one just has all different kinds of sizes and stuff. The really big sizes I almost never use unless I'm doing a power cord or something like that. So I'm just gonna, just to make this easy, normally I try to save as much as possible with these, but let's go ahead and put, I'm gonna slide it on this side, it's a little bit longer. I'm gonna put that on first because you can't put it on later. Now this is how I do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but I learned from Tim at Arcade Repair Tips, and he suggests to go out and around. Put my dirty hand in front of it, see if we can get to focus. Come on. Come on. Come on. I usually don't have a problem with this. Into the lighting. Anyway, I spin it around instead of twisting it like a bread tie. And then the next thing I do is add a little solder. This helps the connectivity, and it also helps the strength. I'm gonna try to do it so you guys can see. Sorry, there's not a lot of light. And it doesn't take a lot of solder, you just want to get some on there to make sure that it holds it together. And this also will increase the size of heat shrink that you'll need. That extra blob on there. Let that cool for a second. Slide this over. And this is my Dewalt Heat Gun. Very handy. I have a little teeny tiny battery in it, so The heat shrink probably isn't gonna do. Let me zoom in a little bit. Heat shrink's probably not gonna shrink as fast as I'd like. This battery sucks. Definitely not meant for one of these little half amps. Okay, so there we go. That's much better. And that is a professional way to do your wiring. Let me grab another battery and we'll do this. Well, let's go ahead and we can go ahead and do the first part. Put the heat shrink on. I zoomed in a little bit better. I usually start with one side and pinch and then wrap the other side around it. That's why it helps to have a little extra when I'm trying to do this on camera. Let's throw a little solder on it. Now, I don't always add solder. It just depends on what I'm wiring. Like sometimes on my games at home, I don't always do this, but at work for sure, or on a customer's games. That basically prevents any kind of tugging or anything from breaking it apart as easily anyway. Okay, I'm gonna grab my other battery and we'll do that, and then we will, actually, I'm gonna, let's just fake it with this for now, because I want to take this wiring back over to the game, and I want to measure and make sure I have the right length of ground wire here for us. A little better. Once it warms up, it's not too bad. That wasn't bad. Okay, so let me measure our length here for our yellow and our black and cut this, and we will come back and finish this up. Okay, let's do the other half here. Of course, I moved it and now I'm still in the way. Okay. Need the light behind me, don't I? Let me move the light. Maybe that'll help. Ugh. That's a little better. Trying to show you what I'm doing. It doesn't help if I'm in the dark. Okay, so I chose yellow because normally the 12 volts and the 24 volts are yellow or orange, one way or the other. And I saw orange, but I didn't see yellow. So we'll just go with that. So it only goes one place from one power supply, so it should be pretty obvious what it is. And we're almost the perfect length on the ground wire. Have a much shorter trip on the 24 volt wire. This is taking me much longer to film than I expected. Oh, I think I forgot to solder it, didn't I? I did. Good times. Okay. Oh, and now I'm gonna forget the heat shrink. Good thing there's nothing on this end. All right, this time we'll put a little solder on it. Okay, ought to do it there. Just Okay. Okay. Yeah, this thing's pretty nice to have. It was like $70 on sale when I got it, and I had some gift certificates, so I got it really, really cheap. But I was like, man, I would never pay $100 for that thing. It's one of my most used tools. Having it handy and being able to walk around with it to do wiring inside the arcade. If you're working at home, maybe not so much, but if you're a tech, it is super handy. Okay, so now we want to take our ground wire and crimper in here. Give it something to bite on. Oh, I guess it doesn't need that. Oh yeah, it's a pretty small hole. Get that up in there and get some pliers. Ugh. Let's see how that is. All right. So now we can plug this into that butt splice or that splice connector, and then the female connector can go right in here. And this, I think it's called a piggyback, I'm pretty sure. And then I want to put the little forks on the end of this for the power supply. And then we'll be ready with this, and then all I got to do is wire in the power and we can check it out. So these two right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get here? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is, a nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted, I got what I wanted, and a pretty good deal on it too. Super hang on.
What I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
What happened? Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.